Okay, that has an actual
That-
time and
that has
place.
a
We
time.
might as well discuss that one first.
All right, it is 11 o'clock. We have Sheriff Robert Alcar and Kevin White. Discussion and interaction on home detention drug testing.
Thank you, James. I wanted to discuss with the sheriff and Mr. White the overall concept and policy, dealing with employment by deputies outside of their official duties. Now, Sheriff, my understanding is that a deputy sheriff can work part-time. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So, and in the past, deputies have worked part-time, have they not?
That's correct.
Now, when a deputy works part-time, he's not also being paid by the sheriff's department for those hours worked, is he?
A deputy?
Yeah.
No, no.
Right. So I'm just trying to establish the framework. So if I'm a deputy and I'm going to work part-time carrying money, for example, from the snowshoe down to the bank, which I understand they used to do, that wouldn't be on the clock. I wouldn't be on duty at that time, right?
No.
Okay. Now, Mr. White is the official drug tester for Pocahontas County Sheriff's Department, correct?
Yes.
And so when somebody
He and Roy Lambert.
he and Mr. Lambert,
Right.
and the when somebody is on home confinement and there's drug testing that's necessary, a random drug screen, for example, it would be Mr. White or Mr. Lambert who would go to that house and do the drug testing, and that would be part of their duties, and they would be on duty while they were doing that, right?
Yes.
Okay. And that is with a specific company that the Sheriff's Department has contracted with to analyze those tests, or are those tests just simply the urine stick test and nothing further? What is the extent of those tests?
Well, the tests are one company, and you send it in. If we don't send every test in.
If
But-
it's positive, we send it
Yeah.
in for confirmation. There's other reasons to send it in,
Okay.
and we will send it in a period of time.
Okay.
We do a initial test, which you're fully aware of already. We do an initial test. If it's positive, we send it in.
Okay. Now, the name of that company that you get the testing kit from, and who does the secondary confirmation test, what is that company?
American Biomedical Corp.
Okay, American Biomedical Corp.
Is who we do the drug. Is who we buy our drug tests with.
And they do the confirmation too?
No, sir.
Okay, who does the confirmation?
Kroll Testing Laboratories.
Kroll? C-R-O-W-E-L?
K-R-O-W-L-L.
K-
K-R-O-L-L.
K-R-O-L-L. Okay, and they do the confirmation. And that's for the Sheriff's Department, right? And so that is a Sheriff's Department expense and part. My understanding that Mr. White also had of what you do in the course of being a deputy. Now, it's as a private business in which he does drug testing for, I know at least the Department of Health and Human Resources. Is that right, Mr. White?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you have a company name, or what is that?
Why?
What, excuse me?
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm trying to understand.
My personal business is what business became a commission person.
Excuse me?
Not necessarily you two, but what business is yours? My personal business.
Oh, well, because, okay, here's the concern I have. I want to
Yeah, I
make
wish
sure.
you'd spit it out rather
Okay,
than
yeah,
go
all
turn
right,
around.
yeah, all right.
If
My
you've got a
concern-
complaint, tell me.
It's, I want to understand that when Mr. White is conducting drug tests for the Department of Health and Human Resources or for some other non-law enforcement reason, that he is not on duty while he's doing that.
Okay, if you
specific
have a
date?
complaint about that, then you need to contact me, and I will handle it. You don't need to have it in front of all
I'm
these
just
people.
asking
That,
if.
you're
if-
out of line
No, I'm
with that.
not out of line.
Yes, you are.
I'm asking if that happens or not. That's all.
You make a complaint to me and I'll take care of it.
Can you assure me?
Well, absolutely.
Okay, how does the procedure work if Mr. White's there or not? Is he,
Do you have a specific date this happened?
no, I just have,
No, you do have a specific date, but you told me.
well, I understand that there are occasions when you're in uniform and someone else is conducting the test for you.
That's correct.
Okay, so how does that work? Are you on duty at those times?
What has that got to do with the county commission having a meeting here? What does your complaint have to do with all of this? Why don't you come and tell me if you think he's doing something wrong? Why don't you do that? That's the procedure.
You don't think that this is a proper?
No, no. Because he's an employee. If you have a complaint about one of my employees, you need to tell me about it.
Well, it's not necessarily a complaint, it's for you to edify me and tell me that there's a separation
No, it's just a smoke
between
screen
you.
is what it is. I know what you're trying to do. If you've got a complaint, tell us. That's the procedure.
If it's a personnel matter, if it's just a
Well,
simple.
my God,
Should personnel matters to begin with?
Well, I don't know.
What
What
else
should
would it
deputy?
be?
Well, it's not necessarily.
For an executive session.
Well, no,
You've
if
done
you want
brought
me
it
to
out.
ask.
Sure it is.
Okay, then you're asking me about my private business, which again gets me to the question, what does the county commission have to do with my private business? Nothing.
Well, then let's go into an executive session, and I want to discuss this further. Just for a minute.
Well, I'm not going to discuss it any further. This is all smokescreen for sensationalism.
No, it's
If
not
you've
at
got a
all.
complaint, you come to me and you tell me and I'll take care of
We'll
the
go into
complaint.
an executive session right now, and we'll discuss it.
Do you want to discuss in executive
For clarification,
yeah, I
I
think
thought
my
the
answer-
question was, when I saw the agenda item, I thought the question was, are you being paid to do drug testing through your company for law enforcement purposes? But you're using the names that you mentioned earlier, which are not your company, correct? I
Right,
thought that's all this
those
was,
are not.
clarification.
He is not double.
This was just clarification
Now,
that
that's
that's
what
not,
he's
I thought
asking.
that's what this
Now,
was,
any,
so I don't.
My
Yes.
further answer to Mr.
Yeah.
Safford.
Which you've
And
said,
my
and
further
I've seen
answer to
those
Mr.
bills.
Safford,
I've seen those bills in there from those two companies that you
Right,
mentioned,
and
so.
my further answer to Mr. Safford should probably be made in the executive session.
Okay.
So you would
All right,
prefer
so you-
Kevin
you
went
would
to
like to-
executive session?
Sure, let's go into
Regarding
an
specific
executive
personnel.
session.
Well, wait a minute, I'm asking the question. Tell what you prefer.
For
Go
what I
ahead,
have to
do that.
say, for what I have to say,
Yeah.
yes, sir, and it won't take just a minute.
Okay, do I hear a motion that we go into executive session?
I move that we go into an executive session.
Is there a second?
A second for specific personnel related code.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. We'll go into executive session, please.